Yo, before the podcast starts, I just want to let you know where to find the Spin the Rock podcast. We are on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So make sure to give us 5 stars and a like now that we have video format. You can also check us out on Twitter at Spin the Rock and TikTok at Spin the Rock, where you can get episode updates and clips. All the links will be in the description. Thank you for listening.
Hello and welcome to the Spin the Rock podcast. I am your host, Angel, and with me today is
Eugene.
Tyler.
And Vaughn.
episode 7, right? Oh my god, I hope that was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said that with confidence and instantly doubted it. So we're still in the dog days. Not a lot of news except for one really big thing. LeBron James signed a 2-year contract for, I don't know how much for. I already forgot, even though we just started talking about it.
It was $97 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, for 2 years?
For 2 years.
Yep.
What do y'all think about that contract signing?
I mean, I think only LeBron can, get that. He's LeBron, best player in the league world. So, yeah, I mean, when I saw the notification pop up, I was like, that's a lot of money for 2 years. And I'm like, it's LeBron. So it was like, I was kind of surprised, but not really.
No, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, it's like this man got like what would be like a 5-year deal to some players in 2 years. Like that's insane to me. 90, almost 100 million.
That's some players' whole career earnings is 97 million. This man just got an easy breezy 2 years for that.
It's so crazy.
I think, in the sense, I'm surprised he signed it only because he said he wanted to play with Bronny, but at the same time, like even after that contract expires, I'm sure he's just gonna like walk and find that team no matter wherever Bronny goes.
True. Or tank, so he can so they can get Bronny. No, what's wild about that though is like I thought about in the sense of like I was watching some YouTube video not too long ago, and they're talking about like how like Scottie Pippen wanted more money and shit like that, but they were talking about the salary, and like some of those dudes were getting paid like $5 million. And today, like if you get paid $5 million, that means you're a scrub. Like, can you imagine the contracts like Michael Jordan and them would be getting today?
No, that's facts.
Like,
oh yeah,
it's kind of insane. Like how we're at the point where like we're almost in like 100 millions for like randos now. I'm like, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, look at Rudy Gobert's massive contract. Just like
200 mil.
200 mil, the whole team's worth of money right there back in the day. So
Yeah,
it's crazy how it's all worked out now.
But like we just said, like who else but LeBron? Like there's only a few players who could actually get that for like 2 years.
Literally.
Right. Like physically, like all the accolades like contribute to your max contract like potential, and like this is just like it's LeBron's career paying off in 2 years, 97 mil.
Yeah, it's so loud. He also took the bag to Seattle and played in some Pro-Am games. I didn't really see much news on that. I know it was pretty poorly put together, I heard, or like what was being said about it. But it's kind of crazy. LeBron is like on a tour. Like, I wonder like where he's going next, because I know there's some other Pro-Am stuff that he could probably do. So it's kind of insane.
I think the only thing I saw was like a picture of like everyone packed outside, like the venue or wherever it was.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were like they should just bring a team back to Seattle and all that. Then again, it's also LeBron in Seattle, so it's like you already know a lot of people are gonna show up anyway. So
yeah,
I mean,
I kind of want a team in Seattle too. That would be kind of crazy.
we need the Sonics again, bro.
I know the NHL added a team, and soccer has a team, football has a team. Come on, basketball!
I think the WNBA has a team.
Yeah, like baseball has a team. Like, give us Seattle basketball. Yeah, I know they're also
Like, what are the two destinations? It's Seattle and Vegas, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
If you had a choice, which one would you rather have? Seattle back or a Vegas team?
I'm not gonna lie. If I'm an NBA business owner, Vegas is
Oh
like
yeah,
so tempting. You
Yes,
see all
sir.
the money these sports franchises are making in Vegas.
That's facts.
Like, hockey doesn't even get snow. Vegas doesn't even get snow, and hockey's big there. Like the Vegas
I know.
Knights. So like, I don't know.
I mean, when you think Vegas, like one of the first things that come to mind is just like in general, just money. So I mean,
True.
it's almost like a no-brainer to put a team there personally. Like, come on.
Which is sad because I want him to go to Seattle, but I have a very strong
Yeah.
feeling that we're gonna see like a Vegas team before we ever see a Seattle team.
It's like the nostalgia versus like the true potential of like a team, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Moving on. There is some way we could still Seattle basketball, and that is in the hot seat topic, which is the best 2K. I don't know if our listeners have noticed, but we make a lot of references to 2K. I know in the first episode I said that's why I got into basketball. Eugene knew the AI roster because of 2K. So we make a lot of references to 2K. So that's our hot seat today. So why don't we kick it off with Tyler, what your best 2K in your opinion?
22. No, I'm kidding. Man, I played Park on there in like the first week, and there was already like sweats on there. All these, I'm done. I just played my team at that point. But personally, I'd say between either 16 or 11. Like, it's hard. You could honestly argue 17. I feel like it's up there, but I'm not gonna say it's the best one. I probably have to go 16. I would say 2K16.
Why?
Is that,
What happened?
Why?
Okay. Well, I mean, also like playing in that time, you just like the rosters that you had back then, like just with, you had the LeBron Cavs, the Young Warriors and all that, and before the whole super team thing started, and like the league had some type of balance in a way. I mean, obviously you had your really terrible teams, but you still had like somewhat decent teams you could play with each other in the my career mode. Appreciate that a lot. It was really cool. Good story too. So I never played my team as much, but when I did, it was always fun to play. But I would just have to say, and plus the mechanics were easier. And just like I felt like every year they unnecessarily made changes that you didn't need to make. Like especially
like,
I think
like the alley oop, bro. Like why we gotta time the alley oop?
Thank you. And man, don't even get me started on 21 shot meter new mechanic thing they did with the whole like.
Yes, it's bad. It's
You have to,
all
like,
bad, bro. It's all bad.
You had to put the stick in the middle just for it to be a green light. It's like, come on, bro, just time it. Why you got to do all this whole center and stuff? But I'm gonna go 16. It was simple. It was fun. And yeah, that's enough said.
For me, I'm probably gonna say 11 or 14. 11 was that was my first 2K ever. So you never forget your first. And it was like the modes, they had the Michael Jordan, recreate the moment or whatever. The My Career was pretty good. You went through the whole draft combine, which they started now bringing back in these more modern 2Ks. 14, it was mainly the rosters, and I played that game a lot. I played it a lot. I think that was like my main game that year. But yeah, probably I would probably say 11 is top, but 14 is right there.
who was the cover of 11?
Michael
That
Jordan.
was Jordan.
Jordan, okay. Because that's how I remember my 2Ks.
Hey, hey, I ain't mad at you. Low key me.
Well, my first 2K that I owned was the one with Spike Lee before my career. What was that, 16? 2K16?
I think so.
I want to say, yeah.
It was 15 or 16. And I think just because that was my first one, I gotta say that one's my favorite. And I think when they did the Spike Lee storyline, it was kind of corny, but like I enjoyed it. I mean, they're all kind of corny. Like, what was 18? You're a DJ.
Oh
and
my,
you
the most
somehow make
unrealistic
the-
way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like after 16, they kind of like stopped trying, and then they started making things dumber. Like, why are you trying to make this game like a sim, like a
Right.
basketball simulator? Like, that's when it started like getting not fun. 'Cause that's when I'm like yelling at the screen, like, how you miss that? Shit, I can't enjoy myself in them games today. So yeah, I gotta say 16.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
literally the last time I played 22 was like last fall, bro. It was bad.
Ooh.
It was bad.
I bought 22 like for $1 at like a GameStop. I had like credits and stuff. So that's my I gotta go with I think my favorite and low key the one I spent the most amount of time on. And I hate saying this, but it's kind of true. 2K20. I was in like sophomore in college. So I spent a lot of time on that game. Like a lot.
I honestly I can't blame you because I did too. Because I didn't buy 21.
Neither did I.
So it was like that was the only game that I had.
Yeah. And like I think I skipped 19 because that was the one with Giannis, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I skipped that one too.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that was like my first one in forever, and I was like playing that shit non-stop. It was the one where like, is that the one where like you start in high school?
Yeah, because that was AD.
Yeah.
That was AD. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was so cool, like starting in high school and then like going to college and all that.
Right.
So like, I don't know, I played that one a lot. I also am one of those people who spends a lot of time on my team, which is pain because I don't spend money on 2K. So like I get sometimes there's games where I look at the roster, I'm like, okay, this is an L. Like that's why I can't play my part. I don't spend money on the game. So
Not facts.
I get in there at 72 and I'm looking at 98s and 97s. Now the real question is though, are we picking up 2K23? Tyler,
I ain't dropping no more dimes on this weak ass franchise. I'm so done. I'm so done with this franchise, bro. Like I thought they would have patched the whole Curry slide with point guards. No, I'm still getting cooked.
Mhm.
I'm still getting cooked to this day. Well, actually, I haven't played. I'm lying. I haven't played Park in a minute. But every time I played, like I thought 22 was gonna be different. I didn't buy it. It got game shared to me, and I told them because that everyone I used to play with, they'd be like, "Come on, just buy it." I'm like, the only way I'm buying it is if you game share. If you give me the $60, that's the only way I'm getting it.
He said, "I'm not spending my own money on this."
I
game."
stood on that, and then I finally got a game shared, and I was like, "All right, let me make
That's
a."
what- I think them shit's even $70 now, aren't they, on release?
For like next
They
gen,
bumped
I
that up.
think.
It's I think it's for next
Oh.
gen.
But I think that's all next gen games now.
I think the only thing they added in the next gen was like the contact alley oops, and that was it. Like that was the only thing I like remember when they had it 22 on PS5 and all that, or
Mhm.
21, whichever one that came out first. But
Yeah.
that's really it.
Yeah, I hate my part, bro. I literally hate it with a passion.
So terrible.
But I think we're all agreeing that we're not getting 2K23 because I'm also not getting that until I can buy it for like $10 on like the Xbox store or something. But our main topic for today, which kind of ties into our hot seat, because in 2K, you know, you can make yourself the GOAT, but in real life, you gotta grind for that. And also you can never tell who's actually going to be the GOAT. So this week's topic is predicting who the next GOAT is and the next dynasty, starting off with the next GOAT. And I'm going first this time. And I went really young. I had like 3 people on my list, and all of them are like below 25. But I'm saying if he can stay healthy, Zion. I feel like Zion can really be that guy if he just, can stay a little bit healthier. I mean, every time we've seen him play, he goes out there like he's playing against like college guys. Like the summer league where he ripped the ball out of that man's hand and dunk, like he's treating people like toddlers out there. Like, so far I think his first year 22 points, but like he barely played. Second year 27 points, and also he has shown that he can like shoot the 3. He's the blocks and the defense like is really good. I feel like if Zion could just stay healthy, develop his 3-point shot just a teeny bit more, and that man can be a monster, like unguardable almost. I feel like. What do you guys think about Zion and that potential?
I think it's wild that people like are already giving up on him just because like he'd been injured. Like that's how Joel Embiid was. Like he was injured like his first 2 seasons. That's how Ben Simmons was. He missed his whole rookie season and missed college because of an injury.
That's how Marco.
So I mean, like
Joe
he's
was too.
Exactly.
yeah. So like, this is like a showcase year coming up this season. So I'm excited for Zion. We're in a league different from like even 10 years ago, where like health management is so different. So I think Zion's in good hands. That's a good pick. GOAT, Zion, next GOAT. I like that pick.
I agree with that, with what Vaughn said, because even like another player, Michael Porter Jr., he played like what 3 games in college, became a mid first round pick, and then he just got him 200 million or something like that. That's not a bad pick at all, what you said. And then Zion getting compared to LeBron, out of high school, being a monster in college. And then obviously, he didn't play much his first season, but wasn't he an all-star in his second season already?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was like it was when they had like Giannis as team captain or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I don't see why people would give up on him if he's doing that in his second year. And like he just needs to stay healthy. That's really all it is. Like I said, if he was fully healthy in his rookie year, I don't think John Morant would have won it. He was playing like crazy every time he was healthy. So I agree with it pretty much.
I mean, y'all done said everything. It's literally just up to him staying healthy. That's literally all it is.
Yeah. Even more, I feel like he can even do the whole marketing part of it, because like Tyler mentioned, Mans was in high school like getting for like crazy. Like the main reason why most of us were able to keep up with his draft class is because of him, because we've known about him in that draft class for like almost his entire high school, college. Like I only knew about John Morant because of Zion being in that draft class. Like I would have been one of the people who didn't know him if Zion wasn't on my Instagram like every other post on a sports page would it be Zion or talking to the potential about Zion. What do you think is like one thing he can add to his, I guess, abilities that can make him for sure unstoppable?
That's good.
Well, you said
Probably
like
just having a certain unguardable move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dirk has his fade. I mean, Dirk, Kobe, MJ, LeBron has his little, whatever pull-up 3 you want to call it. Harden has his step back. Curry has his, unstoppable floater. I think it's if he can come up with some, unguardable shot nobody can guard, then that might be it for him. Like he'll just be there.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
Yeah, because when he gets in the paint, he kind of just like powers his way through. Because like, who's gonna stop him? So it would nice to see him like bring out a skilled move that is like, oh, is he going for the basket, like pushing on through, or is he gonna hit me with like a hezzy or something? Who knows?
Hezzy, that would be that would be so.
Zion heavy.
It's like
There's like a Kyrie handles for versus
God.
like physically, he's already like a specimen. Bro's like what, the heaviest player in the league, and he flies like he's a guard. Like
Right,
there's
like-
not much you need to say on his like on his physique or whatever, but pretty much if he just has a move that's unguardable, I mean, he's already unguardable. Like in the paint, you can just bully his way. But like y'all said, if he has a move, then it's wraps, and if he stays healthy, pretty much.
All right.
I think I would like his 3-point shot more consistent, more dangerous. Because like if I'm guarding Zion, my first thought is like, oh, he wants to get in paint. But if he's just gonna shoot a three right over my head, like that would put me in a cold sweat.
Yeah, because he's shown flashes. Like we
Right.
mentioned it a couple times in the podcast about how that game where he went 100 from 3. So like
Yeah.
I like if he can make that more consistent and not just like 6 or 5 shots, like if he can shoot like 7 to like 9 3-pointers, like and make them, that man is gonna be like scary when you see him have the ball at half court. You're gonna be terrified. You're gonna be shaking in your like your boots.
Imagine he does like that LaMelo thing in high school, pointed. I would love to see that.
Who you got, Vaughn?
All right. I think I got the most obvious answer, and it's Luka Doncic. Because like this man started in Europe at like what 18. He was killing grown men, and then he comes to the NBA and says, "This is easier. This is easier than Europe." So his offensive game is clearly there. He's got the vision to play make. He's got the 3-pointer. He's got clutch. I think he's everything you want in an offensive player. It's just a means of, will he get the team built around him that he needs? Because if so, I think it's multiple championships in his future. If not, I think he's got to have like a one magical Dirk season to get his one championship. So I just think like this guy is going to be like making highlights for the next decade plus. I think. I mean, there's nothing about him that I think is going to be such a detriment that like he's going to be like stuck to the wayside against someone else. I think it'll always be him and Giannis and whoever in talks for best player in the league once LeBron retires. So that's my answer.
Do you think he's gonna have a Dirk-like season, or do you think he's gonna get a team? More of a team?
I don't know, because like the Mavericks are like trying to make moves. Like they got rid of Porzingis, who wasn't a good fit next to Luka, and somehow Spencer Dinwiddie like is his running mate that like helped get him to the Western Conference Finals, which I didn't expect. Like I know Dinwiddie's a bucket, but I don't think Doncic and Dinwiddie are going to the finals and winning at all. They got to keep making moves. So I think he'll win at least one championship in his career, but I'm not confident like he's the next dynasty or anything. It's hard to tell. Like Luka's got a huge career ahead of him still. He's like what, 24, 23, 24?
Something like that.
It's hard to forecast right now.
Especially with the Mavericks too. Like personally, I feel like Mark Cuban would try and make some moves, but I also don't know how much cap they have. So he would have to actually like deal some pieces and some draft picks and maybe some money, to get probably another certain someone, whoever that may be, to complement Luka, maybe even Dinwiddie coming off the bench.
Right.
And then because they just got Christian Wood too. So
Yeah, that man Mark Cuban loves Luca. Like
Yeah.
that's his next jersey. So
I don't blame
Who
him though. I don't blame
Yeah,
him though.
for real. Who wouldn't?
so it helps he's got a supportive owner, like not like the Suns or didn't want to give DeAndre Ayton the bag. So it helps that he's got leadership at his back. So we'll see. We'll see what comes in the future.
Yeah, Luka's a really good choice, especially because, you know, like you said, he's so young, but also I feel like he can really run an offense. Like he's one of those people who knows how to like run the offense through him and he can handle that. He's not just like ISOing, dribbling the ball and then like taking a bad shot. Like if someone has a better shot or someone has a wide open cut, he's throwing them the ball without hesitation. So like I feel like he just needs like someone else to be there with him, someone that he can rely on to score consistently. And then I feel like they could definitely do some damage. What is something that would you think add to Luka that would make him like there, like make him unstoppable? I feel like if he was better on defense, he might
Right.
be a little bit more like troublesome if he was also annoying on defense.
Yeah, I mean, like he's so valuable on the offensive end. I think you can, as a team, put players around him to make up the defensive lapses he has. But yeah, if he just like suddenly turned into Kawhi, like he's easy, like go.
I want to kind of talk about how he was looked at before he came into the league. How he was considered like not a good draft choice for a long time. Like a lot of people were doubting what he could do when he got drafted because they were like, he's not athletic, yada yada yada. So it's kind of wild to see like how no one even thinks about that anymore. Like no one even like thinks about how like before he was drafted he has so much doubt. It's kind of like obvious like now that he's a good player. It's like not even like if you say Luka's a good player, no one's gonna do a double take.
Yeah,
But
it's wild. They were like calling him like the next Darko Milicic. I'm like, I never seen Darko's mixtape, but like this guy, Luka, like
That's
he
crazy.
was killing grown men when he's 18. So I didn't
yeah,
doubt him. I think it was wild. The Kings are like, this guy who has vision and is clutch, who won a European championship. No, we'll take Marvin Bagley. That was wild.
what's even more wild is that he was traded. Him and Trae Young. They
Yeah.
got swapped.
Yep.
Imagine him
Yeah.
on the Hawks. Like that
Bro,
would be
that'd be so crazy. That would be so crazy.
Luka drinking Henny in a strip club. What's even crazier is that Luka and Trey are so tied together not only because of that trade, but also Trey was also doubted.
Oh, heavy. Yeah.
So like I feel like that draft class has a lot of missteps with like Marvin Bagley going so high and Luka and Trey basically being like kind of mid like round picks.
I mean, at the time, Marvin Bagley, like he was
He
like,
was
he
tough.
was nice.
He was tough. He was tough. Yeah.
Trae Young, for me, I had been watching him all throughout high school. And then he went to college and then got drafted. So it's like I was watching him, in his mixtapes literally the entire high school career. So it was like I knew he was gonna be good, but I didn't I didn't think he was gonna be as good as he is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was me with Luka because I was on the side of YouTube basketball where it's like nothing but video essays and they love their foreign players over there. So like they talked about Luka like a little bit before the draft and I was like, oh man, this man is nice. So I was one of those people like, nah, Luka's gonna be cold only because a video essay said he was. Like,
Yo, can't lie. I remember when Eugene showed me him in class in yearbook. He was like, "You know who Luka Doncic is?" I'm like, "Nah, who this?" He said, "This dude won a EuroLeague MVP at 19." He showed me all the craziest things. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be tough." Like I still remember the day he showed me him in class, bro. It was so wild. He was hitting half court shots and all that. Like,
I was like, bro, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, that was a really good choice, Vaughn.
My next GOAT after LeBron is out of there. I'm probably just gonna say Giannis. You know, he's got a ring. He's on a team, like a very good team. I don't really see them getting knocked out of the top 3 of the Eastern Conference. He's got a pretty good what do you call it? Team built around him. You know, he's got Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. Isn't Brook Lopez still on that team?
Yep, he's still there.
yeah, I think he was just injured most of the year.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say Giannis. He's got almost every NBA award, I think, except Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
six
he has like
man.
a Hall of Fame career, like right
At
now.
27
If he
years
retired
old.
right now.
Yeah, so that's it for me.
Yeah, that's really good. Giannis is like the most set up to be the GOAT right now. Good
Right.
team, like crazy accolades, really good game. So like he really is in like that contention to be like the next big thing.
Dang, I ain't gonna lie. Yo,
Plus, he's got like a team that like supports him. Like they've made moves before in the past to get him here. Like obviously the Drew Holiday trade. They signed Brook Lopez that one year and it really like fixed their interior defense. Even like when they scooped up Eric Bledsoe, I know he wasn't the right option for that team, but like they've always been like making moves. So, I think there's a scenario where you look at the Bucks and like, oh, they're not a threat. I think they'll always be a threat as long as Giannis is there.
Right. And then it's like if he does end up deciding to leave, I think it's gonna be kind of like a LeBron thing. You know, he's gonna get hella money. He's
Right.
you know gonna be the biggest player. Everyone's gonna want to play with him. So yeah.
Do you think if he does leave like LeBron, do you think he'll face the same amount of criticism?
ooh, I must probably not because I mean, when LeBron left, you know, he was promising, you know, Cleveland a chip, all yada yada yada, and just like the circumstance. I think it just depends on like how or like when he leaves it. I mean, he already brought the city a chip and all that, so they're probably gonna obviously still be bummed, but I feel like it won't be as bad. Like he won't get as scrutinized as LeBron did. He said he was going to South Beach.
Nah,
So,
I was literally gonna say the same thing. Like LeBron. First of all, Cleveland was super toxic for that, but you know he brought the city a ring, so I feel like it would be kind of like LeBron's second time leaving Cleveland. You know, after he brought them that ring, it was just kind of, oh, you're leaving, okay, we're moving on type thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I think they give him the respect. But it definitely would not be like that first time.
Yeah, I was wondering that because I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if you guys saw this too, but I feel like they've been asking him about playing in different cities a lot lately.
No, yeah.
Like it's kind of weird. Like it's like the NBA wants him to get out of Milwaukee.
When he literally just won a chip.
Yeah, it's so wild. Because Tyler sent a post to our group chat talking about how he was asked if he wanted to go to Chicago.
man, you already know I was on it, bro. You already know.
And I was just kind of sitting there thinking, like, why would you ask him that? Like, why? That's such a random question to ask. Like, that's if I went up to, like, Katie and was like, yo, what about you thinking about playing in, like, Indiana? What do you think about that? Like, it's just so random. Like, there's no rumors about him, like, going to, like, Chicago or anything like that. It's just like the reporter was like, "Yo, what's up? Like Chicago, huh?"
That's just the media trying to stir something up, bro.
Yeah, they just
Yeah,
want
but
them.
really fishing that time. Do you think Giannis is? Because I know I asked this question for Luka and Zion, but that's because they're still kind of young. Do you think Giannis is at a point where he really just doesn't need to add anything, and that he just needs to go out there and hoop and he'll be fine, or do you think he still needs some stuff to work on?
I mean, literally the one thing he needed to add was a 3-point shot or just a regular jump shot, and he added it. Like, he's hitting post fades, he's hitting, pull up threes. Like, because it was like before, I think it was 2 seasons ago, I was like, all Giannis needs at least is a mid-range shot. Because he's 7 foot and his wingspan is over 7 feet. Nobody's guarding, his jumper. Like, you can't block it. There's no way. So it's like, as long as he develops a jumper, he'll be fine. And look what he did. He developed a jumper. He's got the post fade down. He's got the 3 down. So I think he's good. There might be some people who disagree with me and say, there's something else he needs to add, but I think he's good.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if it gets even KD level consistent with his shooting, oh dude, it's over, bro. He's gonna be the best. Like he's strong, athletic, and he can shoot, and he's fundamental. Oh yeah, and he's unselfish. Oh yeah, that's the perfect player right there.
Like, bro, when you think about it, before he had a strap, he was dropping 50 points.
Yeah, just by
like in the paint. Yeah. like if you're having 50 points all in the paint, add some 3-pointers to that, that's 60, 70 points maybe, bro. You know what I'm saying? So
he already got the whole dominant player thing down. Like, if you got Shaquille O'Neal of all people telling you that he thinks you're one of the most dominant players he's ever seen, that means a lot. Like, come on, bro. Like,
literally.
I think if I were to add anything, it would him to be an 85% free throw shooter, because he gets to the free throw line so many times. And, it's kind of just like a 50-50 gamble. If he's like, is he going to shoot good tonight, or is he going to brick everything? Like, I think that plays in team strategies too. Like, we're safer fouling Giannis than anyone else on that team. And that kind of like hurts them in clutch situations, because like, you can just foul Giannis, and if it's a bad free throw night, you're safe. So if he makes that unsafe for teams, then that just throws a wrench in team plans in the playoffs.
Yeah, I also feel like the transition rule is gonna help him so much. I can't imagine.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I can't imagine the amount of points he's gonna get with the new transition rule, especially if that free throw shot gets good. And they're like, we're just gonna take a risk and foul him anyways in this transition. Hopefully he misses the bucket and he starts hitting them. Oh, it's game over. Like, that transition rule is only gonna make him more unstoppable. Also, if I would take away anything from Giannis, I would take away that routine. Take away that free throw routine. Like, come on.
He'd be dead, be staring at the rim for like 7 seconds.
It's so funny. Yeah, I feel like right now the only thing stopping Giannis from having more rings is like the Bucks. I feel like if they move Drew down the shooting guard and get a point guard who passes a lot, like a Chris Paul type, oh my god, the Bucks and Giannis would be like crazy. Like, if they got a pass first shoot point guard, it would be insane. It would be game.
I don't know, because they kind of spread their playmaking between Drew, Chris Middleton, who's actually like a pretty good like playmaker, and then Giannis, of course, who can get like 10 assists a game. So I think they're good at splitting those three amongst them, because then if you get a pass first point guard, you're gonna get the ball into his hands rather than Drew or Giannis or Chris. And I'm not too sure if that would help them. I think what would be better for them were some 3-and-D guys. So some shooting and some defense on the wing.
I think a pass first point guard would only increase Giannis's stats. Like I just think he would get more points. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously they're gonna play through him, but then that point guard is just gonna try and come up with some creative ways just to get him the ball more. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Drew Holiday, I think he's good playing their point guard position because he can facilitate and run an offense as well as get buckets when needed. You know, I think it would be interesting to see, though, now that you brought it up, to see if they like what it would look like if they had a pass first point guard. I think it would be pretty interesting to see.
Who would y'all have in mind for that pass first point guard role?
Oh, I would be thinking like someone
realistically
who.
or just anybody, like in general.
Oh yeah, true. That's a
Like
good question. Because I was about to be really unrealistic.
Well, give me like one realistic and one unrealistic one then.
Okay, you go ahead.
You go first. I don't have a realistic one at all.
All right, I'm just gonna think. I mean, I don't know. He's on the back end of his career, but he's always a help, especially in the playoffs. And he's been signing like minimal deals with different teams. I would say Rondo, if he for some reason ends up there, great floor general, and I feel like he'd be perfect to set up Giannis. Unrealistic? Maybe like Chris Paul or Steph Curry, something like that. Yeah.
That'd be insane.
You saw how they played together in All-Star. I mean, just think about it. I'm just saying.
Add Chris Paul to the Bucks, and the Bucks are winning 3 in a row for sure. I was gonna say Lonzo. I feel like Lonzo could really be like a good pass, like a super realistic would be Lonzo, because like they'll probably can get him in like some like role piece trade. So like Lonzo would probably be good because like he's really good at not really good, but he's a good defensive player. Like you said, they need more defense, and he's super pass first, like super pass first. So I feel like that can be a real help to Drew and Chris if he's that much of a pass first that he won't just try to pass to Giannis. He could probably pass like Chris for like a spot up 3. I don't have an unrealistic one anymore because Chris Paul was mine.
Just the first name that came to mind is probably more unrealistic than realistic, but it'd probably be a player like Shai.
True.
Because I personally I like his game a lot, and he plays like super smooth. I feel like he would fit in the system, but I don't know.
Yes.
I think it's just his like 3-point shot would be the worry, because I feel like it's kind of very similar to Drew, how like he's a 3-point threat or he's not at all. It just depends on the night.
So like streaky, like real streaky and stuff.
Streaky. But yeah, he's a very good pass, and he can score in the paint. So I think that's a good choice.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything else to say about Giannis?
No.
All right. Well, Tyler, who you got for the next GOAT?
I can't lie. They both took my answers, but I've just been thinking as we've been talking, and I would say like based on like potential. I mean, we've already seen him do like somewhat, or he's been doing good. This might be a wild one, but I'd say Jason Tatum, depending on how his career can go. I got you, Vaughn. Don't worry. I got you, bro. I got you.
I couldn't say that myself because of the bias.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. Don't worry. I got you. I'm gonna personally say Jason Tatum. Obviously, hasn't done as much as Giannis, and you could argue like careers between him and Luka might either, depending on who you're talking to, blow him out the water or edge him in terms of like what they're doing in careers. But I mean, since his rookie year, he's been having like just steady inclines, and he already has a finals appearance. And obviously, he didn't do like too well, but I feel like it'll be a lesson for him. It's something for just him to learn. And he's gonna, like I said, he gets better every year. So I feel like if the team could like obviously, stay healthy and make good moves throughout the year. They already got a good offseason pickup in Malcolm Brogdon. I think they traded him and they gave away like a bag of chips or something. I don't even remember. But like,
Yes, sir.
but like, I feel like, I mean, yeah, pretty much just potential. Like, he's young, all-star. You got the first conference finals MVP, which I didn't realize was a thing, but he has upside. He just had a bad moment in the finals, and I feel like it'll be a learning experience for him. So, and he's the type that'll get better. So yeah.
Bringing it back to what you said about the argument between him and Luca, I feel like him and Luca, it depends on what type of basketball fan you are and who you got, because some people really value, like, I don't know how to say it, just value what Luca does a little bit more than what Jason Tatum does. But they're also like, if you're a heavy critical basketball fan, which like most fans are, like are super critical, you can look at Jason Tatum and be like, oh, he always disappoints. But like, I don't know. I feel like it just depends on like what type of fan you are when it comes to like putting one above the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was crazy. Like I remember throughout the playoffs, at least from what I seen, it seemed like they were just giving him nothing but praise. You knocked KD out in the first round, and Kyrie, you beat Milwaukee in 6, something like that.
Yeah.
And then was it Miami in the conference finals?
Yep.
I think so.
Miami.
Yeah, you beat Miami, and then obviously Steph Curry happened, and the Warriors happened, and then everybody was just saying nothing but the worst about him. So
they flipped like a light switch on Jason Tatum.
Exactly. So like
quickness.
And I picked up on it. I was like, it's just one bad moment. I feel like he gonna get better. Like he's already doing amazing from his rookie year to now. So like I feel like they shouldn't sleep. Like he might be a dark horse, I guess, in this video. So
Yeah, I mean, like he can score on all 3 levels, and I feel like every year he's been improving his playmaking. Like he knows when to defer the ball, because you got Jaylen Brown right on the side, who's also a reliable scorer. So
yeah,
I think just Brogdon's going to help his game too with the playmaking. Marcus Smart's not too shabby in the playmaking department, so now we'll have 2 of them at a given time, and it's just like learning from mistakes. Like I think people say Jason Tatum shit the bed in the finals, and I don't think they give enough credit to the Warriors, like scheme they had. Like they had Draymond playing linebacker out there. They had they had Andrew Wiggins, who decided to turn into a little Kawhi Leonard out there, and then they double team him. They
yeah,
would try to like force mistakes. So I think it's more credit to that Warriors team and adjustments than it is Jason Tatum. Like there are some dumb mistakes he made through those finals for sure, but like I think this is a really good building point. I like every year he like builds onto something. So I'm excited for this season and moving forward, what kind of player he's gonna look like.
for real. Like I'd say one thing I'd add is more so like a team thing instead of just like his game, because like I said, I feel like he's been getting better. I would say just keeping a true point guard, because Smart is not the point guard. Like, because you lost Kyrie, Kemba, and then you have Schroeder, and then Smart had. I mean, don't get me wrong, Smart's like did what he could, but you need an actual point guard. I feel like that's more so a team thing, and I feel like it'll help him out. Like that's pretty
right, because Smart would feel like he'd panic and he'd feel like he has to shoot some threes when he really shouldn't be shooting those threes.
He doesn't need to, like, at all. And he got better with shooting, actually. Now I think about it.
Like, he did. I think that's just because like he's had to, or else like the team will fail. But now that they got like some more extra playmaking, I think it's a better spot to be in than last year. And last year was a good spot to be in the finals.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if I feel like they just get more people to like complement Tatum's play style, because I mean we all know they're basically building around him. If they just get more people to complement his play style, and just also if he doesn't have to feels like he doesn't have to play hero ball sometimes, I feel like he'd be all right. But other than that, I think it's just like they need to build around it. Like
there would be times where like Tatum would be cold and like Jaylen Brown would be hot, but for some reason Tatum got the ball just because he's Tatum.
Exactly.
Like, that would be like a wrong decision there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like coach telling him like just to give him the ball, or if Tatum feels the need to like be the one that like step up. Like you got teammates, you can use them,
yeah, I feel like Tatum is really just team based thing. I think that experience will really just help him out. I think that does it. Do you want to add anything else to Tatum talk, or do you guys want to move on?
I feel
I
like
don't have anything to add.
I feel like we touched base with Tatum with what he needs to improve on or what needs to be done for him to, be more successful in the future.
All right. Well, moving on to our other topic, which is the Next Dynasty. Who will be maybe in the next 10, 15 years ish? Who's going to be the next Warriors, the Heat, Spurs? Who's going to be the next team that like everyone dreads seeing in the finals and the playoffs? And I think I accidentally put the order backwards. So Eugene, you're gonna start off with your number 2 and not your number 1.
All right, bet. Hot take, but I got the Thunder.
Oh,
I got the Thunder. I'm on the Thunder bandwagon. I'm telling y'all.
giddy up!
Giddy up. I only say that though because they got goo gobs of first round picks, and they're actually picking up like really good players. So it's like it's kind of they stacking up their young core compared to these other young core teams like the Magic, the Rockets, the Pacers, the Pistons. It just seems like they have more younger players, and I think if they can continue drafting well, I think they'll end up being that team to like step up and be like, oh man, we got SGA and Josh Giddey and Lou Dort, coming up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got the Thunder.
That's
When
a
do
really
you
good
think
one.
when do you think their like championship time frame will be? Like in 6 years, 7 years? How long?
He's gonna say next year.
No.
Chet that
Absolutely
guy.
not. I'll say in the next half decade, like 5 to 7 years, maybe. Because like all of them are really young. They're like our age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they gotta have still have time to develop. Because SGA is probably their oldest player on that team, huh? Unless they have some veteran on
Yeah.
that team I don't know about.
Yeah, off the top, maybe, unless I think Derek Favors was there for like 2 minutes and left, but off the top,
Right.
I would say it's Shea who's the oldest one. And obviously, yeah.
So yeah, like their entire team is just super young. So give them time to develop, continue gaining chemistry, and I think they'll make the playoffs, maybe even play in like 3 years, and then just work their way up from there.
Yeah, the Thunder are doing really good at because you mentioned like the Magic, who I feel like are just keep on drafting point guards. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
keep doing that, and like the Thunder seem like they're like
Damn, yeah, you're right.
planning. Yeah, like it seems like they're planning and like putting blocks together and like almost actually trying to like build a team.
Right.
This straight up like my league type shit, like drafting a team.
Right.
Do you think they're gonna be like the Warriors and be like a homegrown champion and like only have players they drafted, or do you think they'll eventually get a star their way?
No. They'll probably be a homegrown team. Who wants to go to OKC, bro?
Yeah, they're really small market though.
And who wants to play with all them young players? Nobody. I think they're gonna be a homegrown team.
Okay. Yeah.
I think like their own worst enemy at this point is like if they make a mistake, it's on them. Like think of all like the talent that's been to OKC, like through trades or whatnot. Like they've had Victor Oladipo, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Domantas Sabonis, Serge Ibaka, Carmelo. Like there's all these guys coming through OKC and leaving without like having done anything. It seems like so. It's just like, are they gonna stick to the game plan and make smart drafts, or are they gonna like start making trades at certain points?
I feel like they're really like on the road to like be like we're seeing them grow more and more each year. And like I think we talked about this in the prospects episode. It's like we're seeing like a book. It's like we're reading it because every year like their vision is becoming so clear. Like with Chet, you kind of look at the Thunder after drafting Chet, and you're like, hold on, like these players are kind of insane. Like this is gonna be a crazy team. Would you guys say they're the most exciting team to watch next year, or do you think there's teams that you could probably put above them
Like for young teams,
for young teams? Yeah.
I'd say the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
or the Rockets on the low, but like I'm gonna say like not as exciting as the Thunder, but I feel like you could argue that with them just getting Jabari Smith and you having Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. I think there's more, but I just can't think off the top. It's like the main three that come up when I think Houston now.
So yeah, like top three is pretty good. Like for a team that was bottom feeding last season. Like I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. That's a really good pick.
Yeah, facts. With mine, I'm gonna have to go. Well, Vaughn briefly mentioned them. I'm gonna say the Grizzlies, just because how they're doing now. Obviously things can change. The first year, I believe it was Ja Morant's second season when they had the whole play-in format. They beat the Warriors in the play-in. Obviously, lost first round to Utah, and then last season, I guess now, they made it to the second round, lost to the Warriors. So obviously, they're learning each year, and obviously, they're a team that doesn't have to rely on their star player, and we saw that in the regular season. I just feel like they need to beat those regular season team allegations before it even gets to them, because I feel like the way that they play, they might become the next Utah Jazz if they can't beat those allegations. So but like it's like I said, they're improving every single year, especially in the postseason. It's not like a big improvement to go to the next round, but it's still, like it's still an improvement, So I would just say they're on a steady incline. And only time will tell what they're gonna do. So
Yeah, I feel like also Jaw is getting better every single year. Like just slowly watching him, like his points are just like skyrocketing. Like I think he had like 17 his rookie year, and now he's in like 20s, like 25, I think it was.
yeah, like mid-20s, something like that.
So like the fact that he took like almost a 10-point jump from his rookie year and it was only his third year is insane. The Grizzlies are also one of those teams where they're super young. So like it's also one of the things where like I hope upper management doesn't mess anything up and trade away someone like for
Yeah.
basically nothing. Like because that could happen. It's like there are some players who are good enough but also not good enough to like be like, oh, we're never gonna trade this guy. Like I can see one of their like starting five besides Ja. I feel like all of them are at risk of being traded at any point
Yeah.
for like a star who's like slowly like fading in like his efficiency. So that's kind of scary too. And number two, and I'm only doing this because I feel like they could if they like keep doing what they've been doing. I feel like the Clippers have a chance to become a dynasty as long as their star players perform. Like the Clippers have been very close for so long. So I feel like if they keep getting the stars and like, because I feel like for some reason they're getting just as much stars as the Lakers coming to them. So I feel like
It's LA, baby.
Yeah.
true. Even if it's the younger brother of LA, they're still getting a lot of good players, especially with the John Wall pickup. Hopefully, he's still as good as he was before the injuries. But I feel like as long as they keep getting these players, it's gonna happen eventually. They're gonna hit the gold mine soon enough.
Oh, how old is Kawhi and Paul George?
Like early 30s. I think Paul George
Early
is like 31, 32, something like that.
I think whether or not they're a dynasty comes down to like this season. Like, do they win it all this season? Because personally, I'm not even superstitious or nothing, but the Clippers, I think, are cursed. I don't think they're winning the championship in my lifetime. Something
Yeah.
just comes down wrong for that Clippers team, no matter what.
Oh God.
For real. How do you see the Clippers as a Lakers fan, Eugene?
In terms of what?
Like, how do you view them? Like, when people bring up the Clippers in any point of like winning a ship or like being good, like, what do you think?
Well, I mean, people don't talk about that, but I mean, I wouldn't doubt it given their roster. You know what I'm saying? You know, Kawhi, Paul George, John Wall. So it's kind of like brewing. Going off of what Vaughn said, I wouldn't give them this year. I give it next year, like the 2020. What year are we in? 22. So the 2023-24 season, because they're all coming off injury. So you know they got to get that chemistry up. So based on where they finish this season, I wouldn't base a championship run until we see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But when people bring up the Clippers, it's just like whatever. Both teams suck anyway, so it's just like whatever. But hopefully we get a season worth watching in LA. Hopefully.
Yeah. This is the season where we see if LA is still there or not.
Yeah, even before the John Wall pickup, I think when Kawhi and Paul George got traded there, everybody was talking about Battle of LA this, Battle of LA that. So we can get that sometime. I've been waiting on that, honestly. I've been waiting. I'm not
Literally.
I'm not even an LA fan, but I'm wanting that.
It's crazy that you put this team as dynasty. Like, I feel like they got 2-3 good years in them, and they're not going to be championship years. Like,
I put it as dynasty. I'm more like hypothetical. Like, because they keep getting stars. Like, I feel like it's been like since what 20. I would say since like 2015, they've been getting at least one star there. Like, there was like that blank spot where like all the stars left, and it was just like Pat Bev in them. But I feel like it's been like a good hot minute where like at least one star is there. So I feel like they have the chance to like they're gonna hit a gold mine eventually with all the stars that's been coming there. Especially because like most of them are like Kawhi, who's like, I don't want to be a Laker, I want to be like he chose the Clippers over the Lakers, which is so weird. Like so weird. So like I feel like it's mostly just players trying to be different, like still going to LA, but also not being like running to the Lakers right away. So I feel like eventually they're gonna hit that gold mine, and the star is actually gonna produce there.
So you think how most teams, it's either win now or build through the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're always going to compete like for chip?
Yeah, I feel like they're always going to be win now just because they're an LA team. Because I mentioned the Pat Bev team where it was like Harrell and Zubac and all that, and it was like they were win now then. Like they still had that win now mentality even without a superstar.
Right.
So I feel like whether they're bottom feeding or like 6 to like the mid seeds, I feel like they're always gonna have that win now mentality just because like they're in LA. Like I feel like if you don't have a win now mentality there, fans are gonna get mad. Like I can't imagine the Lakers or Clippers purposely tanking. Like I can't imagine that at all.
You'll see it when it's Bronny's draft coming up.
LeBron's like, it's whatever. I want to play with my son.
Yeah, facts. He's gonna be turning the ball over like, yep, go ahead.
Could y'all imagine though, like let's say they act like he ends up doing that tanking and he doesn't get like the first pick or anything, and someone drafts
that would still be crazy.
No, but could you imagine if someone drafts Bronny right before the Lakers?
That'd be hilarious.
Yo, just to spite LeBron, I ain't gonna lie, that would be some next level.
Even if Bronny's complete ass, they still draft him before the Lakers.
Oh, I
That'd
would
be
love
hella
to see
funny.
that.
Can you imagine a scenario where a team drafts Bronny and then LeBron's like, all right, I'm going to sign with that team. And that team says, no, we're not signing
Oh,
you.
true. Can you? Okay, I've been thinking about this. Can you imagine like a team signing Bronny that and like LeBron doesn't go to? Because I feel like there's some that LeBron would be like, hold on, maybe I'm not gonna play with my son. Like, can you imagine Indiana getting Bronny and LeBron being a Pacer?
I
I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty funny.
a lot of Pacers fans gonna look at LeBron as like when Jordan played with Washington that one year, bro. Like they're not gonna be that excited. They're gonna be like, yeah, like it's not gonna be.
Yeah, fact. It's gonna be LeBron's Washington year for sure.
Ever he plays, I swear.
Little watch.
Oh my
All right.
god.
Tyler took my number 2, the Grizzlies. And there's no other young team other than my number 1 that I'm confident in. Like, I think who mentioned Magic earlier? Like, they got all these point guards, and there's news that they want to get Jordan Poole in free agency. Like, what are they doing over there? And I'm not confident about the Rockets or the Kings. So yeah, I gotta go with the Grizzlies team. They're young. They were the 2 seed. Like, they completely exceeded expectations. And they got Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. They're just so young and like so good. Even without their star player, when Ja was out, like they were a threat. So if anyone's can be like a future dynasty, it's this team here and now, this Grizzlies team. And I think what was it? Angel said they just got to worry about getting traded, like some hasty trades. That's a worry for sure. I think more of a threat to that team is injuries, because Ja's a young athletic guard. We've seen what happened to Derrick Rose. Uh, I really hope that doesn't happen. Even Jaren Jackson Jr., he's been hurt a lot in his young career. So I just hope they stay healthy. They stay healthy. I think they'll have success.
Yeah. And you're starting off our number 1 dynasty. So why don't you just go straight into your number 1, Vaughn? Because I have a feeling we all know who it is. It's kind of like
No,
Eugene and the Thunder.
wait, no. This answer is gonna throw everyone off. This answer's like out of left field. My future dynasty is the Warriors. This is after
Oh.
Draymond and Klay Thompson retire. I think Steph will still be playing as an old vet. And that Warrior team, they draft so good, it makes no sense. And they're going to be another dynasty again. And it's going to be hell to watch. But, they just don't go away.
If that happens, I'm gonna view you as a god because
Literally.
that's an insane prediction. That's such an insane prediction. I for
Hey,
sure thought you were gonna say Celtics.
Hey, no lie.
I couldn't not again.
Vaughn ain't wrong. They don't die, bro. They multiply. Like they're a Hydra, I swear. They don't die. Bro. You can't kill them, bro. Just come back. Like once you think you got them beat, it's like call the ambulance, but not for me. Like
They were like a 15-win team, like what, 2 seasons ago or some shit, and they won a championship. And they got a young core.
Yeah.
It's just like, like what a good like management, and they're not afraid to spend money too.
That's true.
They do not hesitate, and they draft good. I don't be surprised if they're like always. It'll be like they have one bad season, and then they get a superstar, and then they're a playoff threat, and then they just build that, and there's a dynasty again. That's what I'm afraid of.
Okay, Vaughn, I have a question for you now. It's the same one I asked Angel. Do you think the Warriors are always going to compete now based on what Curry and Clay and Dre have done for that organization?
Well, as long as they got Curry, I think they're always going to be competing. Like it doesn't matter if Draymond leaves. Maybe in like 5 years, Clay retires. I think Curry will still be there, and they'll always be trying to build around like a team, a championship caliber team. Like even if Curry isn't the number one option anymore, like he's still such a great shooter. He'll always be valuable. He's got playmaking. Like he doesn't have to like part of his game right now and why he's the number one option is because he plays off the ball so well. Like he's like running miles around the basketball court. And even if he doesn't do that, maybe it's Jordan Poole doing that, the number one option. Maybe it's who knows? Maybe the player isn't even drafted yet. Who's the number one option? I think as long as Curry's there, they're always going to be trying to compete, build a team around him.
What about when he's not?
When he's not, well, that's a different story. I think that's so far away, I can't even predict. I think Curry will be playing for like 40. Bad ankle or not.
Yeah, he's gonna be like
For
LeBron.
sure.
I agree with that because was it the play-ins? They had a win now mentality in the play-ins. Like when they lost to the Grizzlies, like they went into that with the win now mentality. And like even in the press conference, he was like, you know, the famous quote that we've been seeing nonstop, like, you don't want to see us next year. So like I feel like they've been having a win now mentality ever since they won that first ship in 2015. So that's a crazy prediction. If that comes through, like that would be
we
insane.
coming back to this episode
Yeah,
and we're like, Vaughn, how did you do that?
Vaughn gonna be like that Thanos quote. They called me a madman. Like he gonna be sitting on his chair just. They called me a madman.
That's insane. My number one, and this ties in with my go. I picked the Pelicans because they also have a pretty. You did not to react like that, bro.
What?
Hear me out.
You said
Nah, you don't need to
dynasty?
make a case for this one.
Yeah, I need.
Look, as Zion he performs like he's supposed to, and McCollum got traded there, and they like instantly shot up into the plane. Like Alvarado has been killing it. Jackson Hayes, he can, if he gets like more consistent, Jackson Hayes can be like a huge help to that team. So I feel like the Pelicans and Brandon Ingram, all they need is time and Zion to be healthy, and that team could probably can do it all. Especially with McCollum as like a vet. Like, oh, I can't imagine the stuff they're hearing in that locker room. Especially being how poorly treated he was in Portland. You know he's got a chip on his shoulder. So, like, I'm not saying, okay, my time frame for that, because I'm not saying, like, soon. I'm saying, like, 15 years.
Like 15 years, they gonna be out of there, bro.
I'm saying, like, in the next, like, give them 10 to 15 years, and they're going to be, like, we're going to be talking about them completely differently, bro. I'm telling you. We're gonna be 42, and they're gonna have 6 rings, and the Pelicans are gonna be known so much better than the Bulls.
Ask you if if McCollum was gonna like ride this out or actually just leave and go to some other team, but you saying 15 years, just it's okay.
Bro,
okay.
CJ, I don't even think he's got 10 more years in the league, bro. Like what?
How long did you think of that answer? I just gotta ask.
God.
Dude, I've had this Pelicans argument ready since Wednesday.
He had the clip ready, bro.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
prepared to defend myself because I knew no one would agree with me. No, but and like for real though, I feel like I can see them like becoming like a second round to like almost rest conference finals exit in like 3 to 4 years. I feel like that's possible, especially if Zion can get healthy. Like I can see them like being one of those teams where like they somehow make it to the conference finals and like take it to 7, even though like they weren't supposed to be there. Like I can totally see that because they gave the Suns a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah.
Like there was no reason why CP3 had to go 100 from the field to get past them. Like that should not have happened. And like Alvarado like pulled through and like really clamped out Chris Paul sometimes. So I feel like I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say the rookie. I think is it Herb Jones? I watched some of that
Yeah.
series and he was doing his thing. He was everywhere. So
Nah, he's actually a really good player.
yeah, he was a dog that series. So
yeah, so I feel like in 3 to 4 years, I can see them being in the finals, and like I can see that. I can see that. Maybe not like maybe if everything goes right for them, but I can for sure see them being like a Western Conference Finals team for sure.
The key phrase: if everything goes right.
Oh well,
Bro,
Zion, all that needs to happen right now is Zion to be healthy and like a little bit more experience.
I have a question
Okay.
for you, Angel.
Oh God.
What conference are they in?
Okay, see, Eugene, we're talking about the same conference that the Lakers were in, and if the Lakers are bad with LeBron James and Anthony Davis,
What makes you think the Pelicans gonna be better?
anything can happen in that conference, bro? I feel like like right now the NBA is so on an equal playing field that like any team can win right now.
Bro, the
I
Pelicans,
feel like
no, bro. No, bro. No, bro.
All right.
I think
You're
that's his bias, bro. I think you just see them as that trash team they were not too long ago, and you.
No. Bro. I love CJ, bro. I love Brandon Ingram. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
Damn, not even like
they might
second round.
might make the play-in and they might make the first round if they're good enough. Because okay, honestly, like after CJ got traded, their record like completely flip-flopped. So if they could do that an entire season and stay healthy, and I guess have Zion back, maybe. No, bro, we're finals. Come on now.
I said 3 to 4 years in my defense. I didn't. I didn't say next year.
No.
I did not say next year.
I'm not seeing it, bro. I'm not seeing the vision.
So I think they're a playoff team, but to say dynasty, I think is insane.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I believe. Okay,
Ain't no
we spent way too much time on this Pelicans talk. Tyler, who do you got?
it's not gonna be as crazy, and it goes back to the whole next GOAT talk. I'm gonna have to go the Mavericks only because we've been seeing nothing but improvement, and they just made the Western Conference Finals with a team that that still obviously needs to make some like changes, and they're starting that with adding Christian Wood, even though they just lost Jalen Brunson. If they just add the right pieces around Luka, and like we were saying earlier, Mark Cuban's like actively, or the GM is actively making moves to make this team better, and it seems like it's been working each season. So if they could, like we said earlier, if they could just build properly around Luka, then I feel like we'll see them in the finals like consistently if they could just build properly. So they got nothing but upside. So, and they were a 1 seed, I believe, last year, or was that Phoenix?
Oh, that's
Phoenix was the one
I
seed.
think they were.
Oh, they were
fourth seed, three or four.
Yeah, they were a top seed with just like young team. So I can just imagine as time goes on.
Well, I don't know like their long term because Luka's always gonna be their long term.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, who else is a young player on that team?
I mean, they had
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson and they gave him away.
Well,
To
they
the
didn't give him away.
Yeah.
The Knicks. That Nick gave him too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they build through the draft. I think they'll always be like trading or trying to sign players. So I don't know like what this team will look like 5 years from now. At least with the Grizzlies, like you can already see their core.
Yeah.
Or a team like obviously the Thunder. But like the Mavericks in 5
The
years will have
Pelicans.
Luka. Yeah, okay, the Pelicans. But like 5 years from now, they'll have Luca, and you don't know if Dinwiddie's going to be there. Don't know if Christian Wood's going to be there. I don't know what that team looks like.
Yeah.
So it really just comes down, I guess, to Luca. And I don't know if I can believe in one player to be a whole dynasty. But I did say he'd be my GOAT, so
Yeah,
I gotta believe some way
some type
somehow.
degree, yeah.
I mean, Dirk kind of did it, but he had who was it? Jason Kidd on that team, or was
Jason
it Steve
Kidd.
Nash?
It was Jason
Sean
Kidd
Marion.
and
Yeah.
Sean Marion with his little
So it's kind of
Tyson
like,
Taylor too, I think.
yeah. So if they can somehow, like you said earlier, pull that off, him have his Dirk year, then everything would be peaches and cream. But I think that's what it comes down to, because also, like you said, we don't know. They don't even have another superstar on their team. It's literally just Luka.
Yeah.
Right.
So getting that core together would be their main priority.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that's really holding them back is just like having that perfect team and the system that'll complement the team. So
I feel like Dallas relies on signings a lot more than other teams. I feel like they really rely on signing players more than they do on trades and drafting, I feel like.
Do they even draft?
hardly, or I mean they do, but it just like
They don't draft good, at least.
the last person I actually remember who got drafted by them off the top is Luca. Now I think about it, so
Right, like
I'm not gonna lie.
They had Jalen Brunson, they let him walk, and before Luca was Dennis Smith Jr. and they traded him. So
Didn't they
Yeah.
have
that was forever and a half ago. So
yeah,
didn't they I could be wrong. Wasn't Tim Hardaway Jr.?
he was Knicks. He was on the
yeah, he
Knicks.
got traded from the Knicks, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And then he went to the
Yeah.
Hawks and then something like that. I don't know.
So like, yeah, they don't really draft. I feel like they really rely on like signings. I feel like.
Yeah.
Unless you count Dorian Finney-Smith, been there forever.
Oh, true.
Dwight Powell.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, I feel like if they draft good, they might be able to pull something off. But I feel like it's just really building around Luca is the only thing stopping him.
Yeah.
He can't drop like 40 every single playoff game. Like, even though he tries.
He's got to have like a consistent running mate because, like Vaughn said, we don't know how long Dinwiddie's going to be there. So now I think about it, and he has had his fair share of injuries. So yeah, if he just gets like that co-star, then maybe even that could help. Who knows?
Question: do you guys think Luca needs a certain type of co-star? Because we have seen some co-stars like Porzingis and Dennis Smith was like the main reason like him and Luca just did not click, even though he was supposed to be really good. Do you think Luca needs a certain type of co-star, or do you think anyone will do?
I'd like to see a co-star that doesn't disrupt the clutch. Like with Dennis Smith Jr., I remember specifically the play I think that got him traded was Luca's calling for the ball, and Dennis Smith, no, I got this, and then bricks. And he wasn't
The worst
traded
thing
too
you can
long.
do.
And I think with Porzingis, it was kind of similar too. Is like Luca would give an open three to him, and then he would also brick. And he's a 7-footer. Like, come on. Like, no one can guard a 7-foot 3-point shooter. And that was always in the clutch. Is like I'd see him like passes and stuff. So I think I would want someone more reliable with the ball, better decision making. Oh, I don't know what kind of player that is though. Who's not? I'm always just thinking in the clutch for Luca because I think during the games it'll always be competitive. So long as there's an actual team there, they're not like a tanking team. I don't know what this reliable clutch shooter looks like. I would have said C.J. McCollum, but he's obviously on the Pelicans.
Yeah.
I would probably say a 3-and-D player. I think they should kind of build like the Warriors in a sense. You know, they got Luka, the playmaker. You know, he's essentially the Steph Curry of that team. They need a Klay Thompson. They need a Draymond. Maybe not, so much trash talk, but like, the hustle intangibles that he has,
The grit.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know who that would be, but I think some 3-and-D player, shooting guard preferably, would be good.
So like someone to take like Tim Hardaway Jr. spot, because I think he's the starting two, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he? Oh yeah, because he was hurt. I forgot about him.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Also,
I don't see a scenario where like this happens, but I think like that prototype team would be like Luka, and then Desmond Bane as a Klay Thompson, and then I guess Isaiah Stewart as your Draymond. I don't know how he is as playmaking. I just remember that the Lakers fight that he wanted to get to.
He tried to start another Malice at the Palace, bro.
As a Detroit player, that's hilarious. Like
literally.
So we're basically all agreeing that he doesn't need someone to like score as much as him. I feel like is most of what we're saying. We just need someone to do the stuff that he really can't do every night.
Yeah, just
like
like
needs to take pressure off of him.
Yeah, that's all he needs is just more people to help contribute, like on his weaknesses and stuff.
All right. Why don't you end us here, Eugene? Why don't you take us home?
All right, well, so I'm a Lakers fan, obviously. I wanted to say the Celtics, but I'm not going to because I'm a Lakers fan. But instead, I'm going to say the Bulls.
Oh,
because, they like that whole probably like 7-man rotation is like all experience. You got Lonzo, Caruso, Zach, DeMar. Who else y'all got? Tyler?
Vooch, and I think Patrick Williams starts at the 4 now. So
yeah. So I guess Patrick would be their youngest player, but he's good. Like he can block shots. He can get rebounds. Basically everything Vucevic doesn't now. But
thank you so much.
But I think because they were literally the number 1 seed this season, wasn't it up until All-Star break? And then they just all got obliterated by injuries
and COVID.
Yeah, it was like COVID.
The whole team got it. Like I swear,
it was like COVID
and then
first.
They just plummeted after that. So I think they could be like literally the next dynasty. Maybe even the Bucks. But I'm gonna say the Bulls. I'm gonna stick to the Bulls.
That's good. That's a really interesting choice because even Tyler was surprised you said that. What do you think the Bulls are missing right now? Do you think they just need more young talent, or do you think like more 3-point shots? Like I feel like that's their main issues is both of those.
I think they just need better bench players, like rotational players, because I can't name a single bench player on their team. So I think if they could have, at least a guard to run the offense off the bench as well or close to Lonzo, and just kind of sprinkle around some talent, just to give the starters some rest. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think some good rotational role players would be good for them. But I could be wrong. I didn't even watch a lot of the Bulls, but shit.
I don't know if they could be a dynasty with this DNA right now. I think there's a good window of there'll be like top 3 Eastern Conference team when healthy. But I mean, DeMar's like what, 32?
Yeah. something like that.
Bro, he's still hooping, bro.
DeMar is
still-
going
he is-
crazy.
He
The MVP.
literally had an MVP season and then got hurt. Like,
The
come on.
the
bro.
MVP. Come on.
He do be hooping, but like in his Toronto years, like they said he wasn't like a playoff player. Like credit to DeMar, he would hoop, but he was playing against LeBron and LeBronto and all that. I do feel bad for that sense. But like, and I love his mid-range game, his athletic finishes. But I think I've always thought he needed a 3-point shot to be like that 3-level scorer you need in playoffs. And maybe you just give the ball to Zach LaVine in those situations. But I don't know if their dynasty is in their future.
Yeah. Honestly, Zach and I feel like Lonzo are the big points where like I feel like that's why I can see them being a dynasty is because they're on that team. Because Zach, like we talked about how Zach is just like getting better every year, and like the playoffs was like not a good like performance from him, but like Tyler said, that was his first time there. So I feel like Zach and Lonzo and like are the main reason why I can see the Bulls being the dynasty is because like they're still kind of younger than like most players right now. So like I feel like they can really, if they just get better in the playoffs, and like Vaughn said, if DeMar can be consistent in the playoffs too, I can see them like doing some damage. But it's just like the injuries last season, we didn't get to see the full scope of the Bulls. Like I feel like this is if they don't get as injured and if COVID doesn't make a comeback, I feel like this is gonna be the first season where we get to see that new Bulls team. Because last season it was just like COVID injuries, like
Right.
back to back almost.
And it was like that was like their first season together, and they were the number 1 seed. You know,
Yeah.
It was like their chemistry was just out of this world, and you don't ever see that, like a first-year squad coming together and be like on their shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're gonna end it there. Any honorable mentions?
Like I don't know.
I can say the Celtics, but like I talk about them every time. It feels like every.
Not right. Like I
episode.
wanted to mention the Celtics too. Is like, they're kind of in the same boat as the Bulls. Younger than most. JT and JB coming up. And now you got all of your new players and such. So I think they could be as well. The Bucks. They
I feel
want
like
to
we
chip.
talked about the Bucks during the Giannis talk.
Yeah, like it's just that they got a good team overall, so I think they could win a few more, maybe.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we'll
All
let them
right.
off the table.
It's like, yeah, I don't want to like spitball no random team like the Hawks or something like that, because I feel like I gotta see more. I gotta see more. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I gotta see
they're
more.
Trae Young, yeah.
Trae Young, my
We're
bro.
not just like naming good teams; it's dynasties. Like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
big future ahead of them. So
I gotta see more. But yeah,
All right. Well, I guess that's where we're gonna end it. I think we did a good job. That was a pretty tough topic because we're predicting something that like is predicted, and like if you're
Crazy.
wrong, you look dumb. Like so, pretty hard to predict. Next week's topic, we're gonna take a look back to 2020. We're gonna talk about the bubble. I feel like we're gonna talk about if that ship should deserve an asterisk or not. Our favorite regular season moments, our favorite playoff moments. Just really talk about if the bubble should be as criticized as it is right now. We are on Apple and Spotify, so make sure you guys give us those good old 5 stars. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening.